Hey guys, so we literally just heard about whatever this style guide thing seems to be. It looks pretty legit, so we kind of jumped on it. If you didn't know what you're watching, this is Tales Channel News, and we got some friends to talk about the news that just dropped. This could be potentially massive, so we thought we'd start discussing it right away. So what are your gut reactions, Sam?
I'm very, very conflicted. Okay, if this is real, and if it is real, I will say the head and the face isn't as bad as I thought it was originally. Not the realistic hedgehog face like we were all scared of, but the anatomy of the body is throwing me off. He's not wearing socks, and I think that's that's bothering me so much. And if based on that image, it looks like his gloves or quote unquote gloves is just white hair.
Yeah, I think that's due in part to the fact that it's an illustration. These are definitely illustrations, so we're mainly what we want to be focusing on here. What I want the message that I get out to be is that these are illustrations, and that what we should be looking at is it from a design standpoint.
From a design standpoint,
what I'm noticing right away is I actually kind of like how they're showing the mouth. We have side mouth. That is something I did not expect to get, to be perfectly honest with you. But Shan, what are your... Oh, sorry. Yeah, go for it.
So, what I was going to say is, if you look at the bottom left picture, I get Sonic 06 vibes with that pose, staring directly at the camera. That's like, I swear to God, that's a Sonic 06 pose that I've seen before.
They're using iconic Sonic poses in this style guide, which is really, really cool and adds to its legitimacy.
Also, but the ring is huge that he's holding.
That is true also, but I want to make sure I get to hear Shanny's gut reactions as well.
Yeah, go ahead, Shanny.
I'm a little weirded out, but I've always been weirded out. But seeing it, I don't really like it, just from the standpoint of this isn't what Sonic should completely look like, but it makes sense. That's the first thing I thought about too, is it makes sense on a compromising point.
Well, expand. I'd like you to expand on that. What kind of elements of Sonic's iconic look are missing, do you think, from this as a fan for like as long as you've been?
Well, it's still a little too realistic for my taste. Of course, they separated the eyes, and the shoes aren't correct. And if you look in that image, it looks like Sam said, he's not wearing gloves. It's fur.
I'm pretty sure they're going to be actually gloves, because in the tweet posted by the Sonic movie, you can see a texture on his gloves. I really want to stress that I think that's due in part to it being an illustration. I think that's a miscommunication.
Yeah, I think it is just the illustration. But the more glaring stuff would be like the eye separation and everything. But yeah, it makes sense, because they did say they wanted it to be real. They wanted it to be a more realistic thing, and this kind of makes sense.
I gotta say, Sonic, as in this design, Sonic does not look good in the angle he's known for looking good at. Like in that main image that you're gonna probably see on all the thumbnails, I actually think he looks pretty terrible in the face area. My favorite one is the one on the bottom where he's pointing, the one you were talking about, Sam, that looks like Sonic 06. For some reason, Sonic actually looks really good from the front. So what I would suggest is, if you're trying to get down with the movie Sonic because you're trying to enjoy it, maybe just only look at him fully when he's staring right at you.
Can I be honest here?
Yeah, of course you can.
Something about the whole him having bone structure is, I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's the style of the film, though.
The face. I'm staring at the. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. I'm staring at this man's thighs. Something about that leg and the way it's connected to that body is. I need holy water. I need something. What is happening?
Honestly, it's more cartoony than I expected, though. I just want to. I want to He's brighter blue than I expected. He's got a 2D-esque smile. Like that looks like something in 2D art. Also, I like the how his body hair, or what would you call that? I guess his chest. It's kind of like it sharpens out at the bottom. That kind of makes his shoulders more prominent, which I don't think Sonic looks bad with shoulders specifically. It worked in the boom design for me. I actually loved how expressive it made Sonic to have shoulders. that did a lot for animation. So that's the kind of thing that's got me excited. He should have socks on. There's no excuse. Wear some socks.
Yeah.
You're going to have athlete's foot real fast with all that running you're doing, Sonic.
I will still stand by that it looks super weird, but it baffles me because the shoes are one of the most iconic things. They were changed
I agree.
1 or 2 times for different things. And I think even though this Sonic, I have to reiterate the movie Sonic because it is Paramount's depiction.
Of course, yes. I think Sonic fans are used to that, though. Sonic has had so many style shifts. I think Sonic fans are used to that by now.
There is so many style shifts and everything, but you have to remember that this isn't a Sonic that like Sega was like day one made. This is Paramount's depiction of it, like through and through.
Yeah.
But I still think no matter what, you shouldn't change the shoes. That is one of the most iconic parts of him. And they changed it, and they don't even like make it look anywhere near.
I mean, if you squint,
oh my gosh,
really far away, you might be okay with it. That's what I did.
If you stand far away and squint and you turn your head really fast, it looks like his shoes.
I want to say, I'm hoping. What I'm hoping for and why I'm laying off the shoes a little bit, but I do agree with you, but the reason I'm not focusing so much on it is that I might be headcanoning a little too much as a Sonic fan here, but I hope that it is a narrative thing that he has such normal-looking shoes, and it will get a kind of the Amazing Spider-Man-esque kind of thing where originally his iconic look doesn't come until later on. They did, I believe, I remember reading somewhere they were aiming for a trilogy. But Lourdes, actually, could you come back over here because we actually did not get your gut reactions to this. How did you feel right away when you saw this? I imagine not very good with the first image.
It looks like a Netflix show. It looks like something they would animate. The pupils are super huge. The smile kind of is uncanny. The torso is massive. It looks like they rigged him so that it's easier to track his movement from like a human being. That's all I get from that.
That's totally true, but they're also going for live action, so this is something that I think would only work. That's something that just works in live action. I think I already threw out the cartoony Sonic design from my brain when I heard it was live action. I'm sure I'm not the only one as well.
No, again, this image looks like the compromise.
Yeah, I agree.
The long like Sega has been talking to Paramount. It's obvious people didn't like. We were just talking about that earlier. It's obviously people didn't like the design on the reveal, even though the face wasn't shown. But then mysteriously the pre-production leaked, and everyone said, "Oh, I like this." And this might be it. This might be the compromise between the two.
What I would say in response to that is that at least it looks like there was a compromise made. I honestly was expecting Sega to feel powerless, but it actually feels like Sega's influence is kind of here.
Here's what this looks like to me. This looks like that these two sides, Sega and Paramount, battled it out over the design, and Paramount was like, "I want to keep the separate eyes," because that's the first thing that we looked at, and Sam made a comment about it. But from that look, it makes sense. Yeah, it's separate eyes, and then they put the white fur in between, and that's a compromise. Because then there's your like, well, we want to make it realistic, and you can't have one giant Cyclops looking like eye, so we'll do it like this. He has the side mouth. He's got his nose punches out a little bit more, which is great, and like it looks. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it looks like they almost compromised in almost all the right places.
So that's kind of good. I mean,
like I expected worse.
Also, I kind of like what they're doing with the gradient in the background. I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel as intimidated by this as I thought. I honestly was expecting something grittier, especially considering how they set up the silhouette. It looked very intimidating with how dark it was. But I think we got to start wrapping it up. So does anybody have any final thoughts?
Real quick, I want to do one thing. Let's compare from what we see here to what we saw in that leaked image from a year or from 2 years ago from Sony.
Yeah.
How does it compare to this?
Side mouth.
The side mouth is better.
You're talking about the pre-production leak?
Yeah, the one I just posted in general.
It looks more cartoony. It looks more cartoony than the teaser reveal.
Lighter blue.
I can immediately see that.
Yeah.
So,
but I will say something about his quills. I'm liking better in the Sony one. Something about it. Something about the quills and the texture.
It
But
might
I'm
just
still-
be the angle of his head, and also the fact
might
that looks like a higher quality illustration. That actually looks like it might be a 3D model as compared to the other one just being an illustration. Any more closing thoughts?
I have something.
Okay.
So if you look at the pose,
And I have some too.
Can you scroll up to the pose?
Oh, sure, yeah, no problem.
Is that just the smash? Pose?
It's just a generic running pose. Yeah, it's mostly the smash pose for sure.
Yeah, they're trying. It looks like they're trying to do more relevant stuff.
I appreciate that.
I think they're trying to prove a point by putting him in game poses.
Which is
but
good.
Also, I think now, of course the fan base will be in a tear over it. There will be people who hate it. I think more people will be like, it's okay. But now it's going to come down on the interaction. Now now everyone's gonna be like, what's Eggman look like? Is Tails in it? What's the interaction going to be?
Well, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see.
It's better than what I thought. Yeah, it's better than what I thought.
I'd say I would agree with that. It's better than what I expected. Hey guys, so obviously we recorded this discussion before the actual film design was leaked. What I mean by this is the things we were discussing beforehand were just the illustrations from the style guide, but shortly after that, they actually revealed what he's going to look like in the film with this design, and it's actually changing a few people's opinions, so I thought it'd be worth it to update you guys on this image specifically. So, Lourdes, what are your first thoughts when you see this image?
So my initial thoughts with the other image was that his torso was huge. I was like, there's no way this will work. And then, they extended the legs. Calves are less prominent. If you squint, it kind of just looks like a cartoony leg. And that's kind of a positive for me. So, I'm in a better mood because this image, the other ones, I was really sad. I was really sad.
What's interesting is now I'm beginning to think that the side mouth that I was praising in the 2D art, while that was one of the few things I enjoyed, now it seems to be completely inverted. The only thing I do not enjoy with this image is actually the mouth. I've been afraid since the beginning that they were going to do this with the mouth, where it's like one giant mouth. I just personally think that's what takes away from Sonic's iconic look from me. The side mouth, whenever it's been like messed around with, I don't know. It's just part of what puts Sonic's whole face together for me. I don't know. But I really like how his eyes are now more angular. They looked very round, and Sonic was kind of giving off more of a dinosaur vibe for that very reason. It took away from his potential kind of serious look, but in this image, he looks like he could be taken a little bit more serious.
I want to see more expression.
For sure. We want them to take advantage of Sonic's design because, I mean, having these intense facial features, it'd be such a waste to not, exaggerate all these emotions. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed our discussion. Let us know what you guys think of this design in the comment section below, and I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week.